Today, we're building Crocodile Lake, Deinosuchus Dip, and even creating one of the largest crocodilians to ever live. Welcome to the ultimate wildlife sanctuary. Welcome to Prehistoric Park. What's up, guys? We are back in the park today. So, finally getting back to it, not making an episode every single 3 months. We're actually, what is that, 2 weeks since the last episode? If everything goes to schedule, at least. But yeah, today we are going to be building the Deinosuchus Dip and also the Crocodile Lakes, which they are different. When I was a kid, I actually thought they were the same place. I'm like, how are they gonna not have the Deinosuchus eat the crocodiles? Which, I don't know why I thought that, but I don't know, it made sense as a kid. So, we're starting out laying out this. What was really difficult was I have no clue how this was supposed to be set up. I have no idea, because I did a lot of research into like the Croc Lakes and stuff, and I looked at every single clip in the series that we had of it, and I looked at real life locations, which was Croc World. I forget where it is. I think it's in South Africa. And the Deinosuchus Pond was actually in Australia. So it's two different sets. We kind of had to like smush them together to just sort of have something coherent. And for a little bit I was thinking, honestly, maybe I should just build the entirety of Croc World in the park. But then I thought that would take up so much space and it would just not make sense. So what I ended up doing was I looked at Croc World from the like images and tours and stuff like that, videos on YouTube of people going. I used that to figure out how the parts that were on screen are set up, but then I didn't include stuff that wasn't in the series, which I think turned out alright. I think it turned out to be the best option, because no one's really here to see Croc World being built. They're here for Prehistoric Park, right? So, I mean, maybe in the future I'll just go crazy and I'll recreate that might be my next series. I'll make Croc World entirely in Prehistoric Kingdom. But we are finished with lining up everything. I got the layout done here, and now we are building the bridge on which Bob feeds, what's the crocodile's name? Henry? That's his name. Henry the crocodile, now crocodile, which upon researching I found out was actually a real crocodile too, which is still alive. It was like 100 years old or something. Insane. And it was alive in 2007. It's still alive today, as far as I'm aware. But Henry is actually a real animal, which, I mean, obviously it would be a real animal, but what I was thinking was it was just a fake name, But we're working on this bridge. This bridge was also hard because in the series, there's just not enough clips of just the Crocodile Lakes, because we're here for the Deinosuchus, we're here for the dinosaurs. They didn't spend too much time on this. It was just kind of to set up why Nigel was going back to prehistoric Texas. So, I just had to best guess. I took creative liberties on a lot of this, while still trying to keep true to what was on screen. I think what the final result works pretty well. Maybe it's not exactly how Croc World is set up or how the show writers envisioned it, but I think it works best for what is on screen, how you would interpret that. Like how a casual viewer would interpret what's going on in each scene. So, I had so much trouble getting the lake right. I was like, do we do it this way or that way? And it was because I was still having trouble figuring out which lakes were which, because I was looking at Croc World. Unfortunately, I don't think the bridge here is real. I think it's a set, because that bridge doesn't exist in Croc World, as far as I'm aware. I've never been, but from what I've seen, and I looked as hard as I could, it just doesn't exist. So now we're making this rope bridge here, and It's it's a little janky, guys. I won't lie to you. Look what I'm doing here to do this. It took me a couple tries to get it. It's probably not the most like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Physically sound bridge, I guess. I don't think it's adhering to gravity very much. I think it's a little bit too droopy on one end and on the other, which would not be how a rope bridge this way would work. But I did mirror it, so hopefully it works good enough. But it was a fun thing to build. I think looking back, I probably would have done it faster now that I actually understand what I was doing. Because like I made the bridge itself, and then I was like, oh wait, I forgot the ropes. So here I am creating the ropes on the side. I probably could have done that all in one go, but here I am making it more challenging for myself. I just wanted a real nice challenge here. That's what it was. So anyways, making this like netting that goes on the side. I guess it's made out of rope. It might be made out of something else similar to rope. I can't think of the name of the what it is, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Like that very strong. I just probably sound stupid right now. I don't know what it's called though. It's not rope. I'm not that dumb. I am pretty dumb, but I'm not that dumb. It's something. Man, I just cannot think of it, and I just sound really, really dumb right now. But moving on, because I can't think of what it was. So we're gonna move right on to a different topic. Let me think of a topic, actually, guys. Hold on. I'm thinking. I guess I can talk about. Let's talk about Parques Antigos. How about that? Parques Antigos, however Arrow wants to pronounce it. Our new collaborative series. I think if anyone here is a fan of both series, let me know how you've been enjoying it. It's a bit different. I decided not to speed build it because, well, for one, I already have this series, and for two, I feel like I might get a little more productive when I'm not speed building it, because speed building kind of makes me like not want to do it. Like that's a big problem here, is I'll just feel like I want to build something in the park, but I have to record it, obviously. Meanwhile, in Parques Antigos, or Parques Antigos, or however we're going to pronounce it, there's a Portuguese pronunciation, there's a Spanish pronunciation, and we have different ideas of what it should be. But there, I can just build for like an hour and just stop, and then, go do something else. Which I enjoy a lot. It's a different process than speed building it, because I don't go all in one go, but I guess it just works differently but better, I feel like I'm rambling this episode, which maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. Up to you guys. Depends on how many dislikes I get on this video. That is the same clip. Uh-oh. Or maybe it's not. I can't remember. Maybe we actually lost the save file accidentally. We might have done that. I did actually. I'll be honest, guys. The part we're gonna see here, I accidentally saved over the save file with a different version of the part, and it didn't happen, unfortunately. And I'm gonna have to go back and redo it, which won't take as long because I know what I'm doing and I don't have to think out how everything's gonna look. I just have to look back at this footage and figure it out that way. But what you're seeing is very indicative of the final product, not project. This episode was definitely a little difficult for me, mainly because just how little we know of the place, plus trying to make it fit. When you have a real world continuity of just real life, and then you have the show's continuity, which I will admit is kind of janky at times, which is it's still a great show, but it does have some weird moments where things don't quite line up. So I've tried my best to figure out the continuity, at least in my own head. I haven't written it down or anything, but what happens at the end of the series in the big breakout is once Matilda has like chased Nigel after he, where was it? It was the Mammoth Mount, near Mammoth Mount. He runs this way, and he goes past this lake, and judging by like the camera angle and everything, there's a very specific space it would have to be, which I had to like think and like figure out, and like through trial and error figure out where this like pond needed to be, because there's 2 or 3 ponds in the series that are shown. There's even more in the real life thing. So I figured out where it technically should be if we are trying to go for continuity here, but at the same time the continuity is just already so messed up, because right before he's at the pond, he's at Triceratops Creek, which is on the opposite end of the park from the way he is. So, I mean, make of it what you will. The continuity is a little bit messed up, but I tried the best to make it at least make sense. Ugh. I think a lot of the time was definitely devoted to the Croc Lakes over the Deinosuchus Dip, which is, for all intents and purposes, just a pond. There's nothing special about it. There's no infrastructure really around it other than that boardwalk thing, the path that goes by it. So, I mean, there wasn't much to do there. We spent most of the time messing with this and making sure it's right. And so now we're going to get into building the Deinosuchus itself. So the way I made this, people have said it looks like a balloon animal, which I have to agree with. But since the devs don't plan on adding Deinosuchus anytime soon, if at all, I just had to be creative, because I don't know, I just felt like we had to put something in here. So what I ended up doing was I looked at the Isles Deinosuchus model from their game, and I just kind of like used that as like a good 3D model to like base this off of, while also looking at the series for like anything that was like distinguished prehistoric parks Deinosuchus from any other reconstructions, which it's just a big crocodile really, so there isn't much to like add to it. The only unique thing I think would be the colors, and even then it's just a dark green with like a yellowish base, which I really didn't nail down to a T. I kind of just tried to make it as close as I could. So, and it's kind of nasty colors. I won't lie, I don't really like the Deinosuchus' colors in this show. It's really dark. Oh yeah, Theo for some reason decided to get out of his pen and walk all the way here. I just heard him while we were doing this. It was very strange. Don't know what he was doing over here. Maybe wanted a drink, even though he's got a whole creek to himself. It's a good thing the Deinosuchus wasn't in the water yet, huh? So, the process here is very simple. I'm basically just looking at the model, and I'm just trying to like etch it out of like big shapes and kind of like slowly refine it more and more until it looks good. Kind of like, it's almost like sculpting in a way, but just very, very much not like sculpting. It's very like rudimentary. You just kind of put the blobs together. I assume this is how the Roblox games make their models. But yeah, just start with big general shapes that you saw in the beginning. I actually didn't record the beginning of making it. It was just the base like layout of everything. And then what I did after that was I would just go in and I would slowly try to make it more and more refined and add smaller and smaller details until it's like pretty refined. Obviously it still looks like a balloon animal, but I mean, I would have to be crazy to just keep going even smaller details than this. And I mean, I think they work. I'm not trying to compete with actual 3D modelers here to make a real Deinosuchus model, so I tried putting teeth in it, but I just didn't like that way, so I used these like Velociraptor claws. It doesn't work great, it's just the best I can really do with what I have to work with. Here we started making these like scutes on the back. I didn't like the way I made them with the 3D pyramid thing, so I just kind of cut that footage out. We decided to go with more circles, so even more like a balloon animal. I started on the neck, and then eventually I got around to deleting the ones on the back and doing those as well. This was probably the most time-consuming part. The whole time I had like true crime podcasts on and stuff, listening to like true crimes, which for some reason now every time I look at this Deinosuchus, I just remember like the true crime like documentaries I was listening to, which is strange. That happens to me. If I'm building something and listening to something, I just start associating that building or build or whatever with like what I was listening to as I created it. I don't know if other people who build stuff do that also, anyone who like listens to things and then builds, but for me that's definitely what happens. So now we're just getting those in. I was still looking at, I'm pretty much copying exactly how they're made on the Owl's Deinosuchus, which, I mean, hopefully I don't get sued, but I mean, I was just looking at a model from in-game and using it as a base, so I'm sure they don't mind a balloon animal, even though it's a different game than theirs. So we're just sort of adding these where they should be. I wish we had like some more like rough edged pieces that were still just like same material to use. We could definitely do with some more like art shapes. I think a cone would be really good. I think maybe like a round-edged version of the cube would be okay, like a nice addition maybe. Definitely some more like things I could add, but I mean that's not something like super important, like honestly. So they do have to focus on actually adding animals to the game, which is understandable. I mean, yeah, as much as I'd like this to just be a building game, we do kind of need dinosaurs in it as well to actually be called Prehistoric Kingdom and not just Kingdom. So we started working on the edge of the scutes now, the ones that kind of poke up. And then once we finish those, we actually move on to the tail, which is what we'll finish off on. Like right here, these don't work the best. If I had like a cone or something that I could stretch out to make other shapes with, that would work a little better in my opinion. Maybe next time I make an animal, I will just like make it like a 3D model using like a bunch of cubes so tiny that it's just like 300,000 pieces. It's just a literal 3D model made out of cubes in this game. Maybe I'll do that and just spend 3 years on it, but I doubt that I'll actually do that because I'd have to be more insane than I already am. Another thing I was having trouble with was these like non-symmetrical pieces. I don't know why, but for some reason all of the scutes didn't want to like be symmetrical for me. I just had to make do with what I had. We can just assume that the Deinosuchus is kind of, I don't know, maybe he's like moving his tail a little bit, that's why it's like that. It's not a complete T-pose model, I guess. We'll just say that. But getting around to the close to the end now, I just have to finish off a few more details and then it'll be done. Fixing up the tail a little bit to be a little bit more realistic. We started on the feet here, which I didn't spend too much time on. I could have tried to make them a little bit better, but I mean, who's looking at these feet anyways? except for literally everyone watching this video, of course. Started adding claws using, again, the Velociraptor things, and then we're gonna move back into the Crocodile Lakes. I still had 2 lakes to add here, 2 that were actually visible in the series. One actually is a flamingo pond, which is the one we're looking at right now. And maybe if Nigel kept going, he would have added like a prehistoric like bird in here, like a flamingo-like animal, but who knows. I thought this part was pretty fun to build because it was actually like an actual thing you'd see more in a zoo, which a lot of Prehistoric Park is not a zoo. It's very much, it feels like a nature reserve, which is the style they were going for, obviously. But here it felt more like things you would expect from an actual zoo, you know, fake rock where, you know, the lining on the bottom of the thing, which I used sand for to make it look a little more natural, and I didn't really feel like adding a concrete barrier around this pond. But overall, it definitely felt more like an actual zoo, like you'd see in a zoo rather than nature reserve like we're used to with Prehistoric Park. We see this in one scene and one scene only, and it's got the man, the myth, the legend, Bob himself is walking across it as he goes to feed the crocodiles. So I drew from that this must connect to the crocodiles somehow, and he does come out on the opposite side and not the side closer to the road leading up here. So I assume for some reason he went around the long way, and that these two connect to each other, at least in the series. Not in real life. In real life, I think they just wanted a cool scene, but we made do, and we just guessed where we thought it would look best, and I think it turned out nice. It is a very little, it feels very cozy, a very little like closed off area, very snug feeling. I like the look of that place, even though it's only seen once. If only he had put like maybe a Spinosaurus in there or something crazy. So here we're adding in these platforms, we're finishing them off, getting close to the end here. We have one more lake to add, which is the one that he runs by. And I mean, there's not too much to say about it. It's got a few islands in the middle, and I don't know what that was. There's a T-Rex. I think I was looking at how big it was compared to the T-Rex, the Deinosuchus. There's not much to say on this. It was a very quick build. I could have detailed it further, but like I said, these like one-off things, I don't really want to go super ham on right now. I might go back and detail things once the series is over, but I'd rather not right now. So you can see the T-Rex again. Last thing we have to build here, I think, is the boardwalk log path, the wooden plank path, whatever it's called, that goes right past the lake. Don't know exactly why it's there, especially when a Deinosuchus can jump out and attack people who walk on it. But I mean, it's there. I did forget we actually do have to add these fences in too. Obviously, we don't want the crocodiles running around. But like here, like the crocodiles get a fence, but you just let the Deinosuchus like free. That's so weird. This was pretty much taken from Croc World. I couldn't really see in the series how their fences looked, so I just took the ones that I could see on pictures from the actual Croc World sanctuary reserve, whatever it is. Interestingly, we're gonna have to look at Croc World some more for Nigel's den, where all of the Microraptor are, or at least one of them that he sits there for some reason and not in like a cage. We never see like a habitat for the Microraptor, but I have no clue. He just sort of lets them be free. They're not going very far anyways. I mean, they can only glide. But That was actually in Croc World 2. So we'll have to look more at that once we get around to building that. I don't know when we're going to build that. It's definitely not my next plan, but it'll be pretty soon. We are pretty much, not pretty much, we're like getting further into the series. We're having less and less we actually have to do. I mean, we've already got 5 enclosures, I think. Maybe 4, I don't remember. But, I mean, the more we get, the more we have to actually, we get closer to completion, I guess. But, I think we're wrapping up pretty shortly here, so I will leave you guys till the end of the time lapse. And with that concludes today's video. I want to thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment, or my parents are going to cry or something. I have no idea what I'm saying. Thank you for watching. Please do the things I said. I hope you have a very good day. Love you guys. Goodbye.